Morning, Trainiacs. I don't know if you've heard, but inside here, we got a lot of stuff. An entire shelf filled with wetsuits. A Zwift setup that cost more than my first car. Strength equipment that takes up more space than the living room in my first house. An entire rack intended for bikes that is embarrassingly empty because of the situation of the world right now. One of the biggest drawbacks to new athletes coming into triathlon is that they think the triathlon has to be incredibly expensive, like tens of thousands of dollars, because those are the bikes and that's the equipment that people see me using, and pros and really good talented athletes that have been in the sport for a long time using. But these are things that you accumulate over the course of a lifetime in endurance sports. When you're just getting started, there are lots of small little upgrades and accessories that you can purchase that will make your swim, bike, run, and strength training experience way better, and you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to do it. So what we're gonna go through here today are the 10 best accessories that I think you should buy if you're a beginner triathlete and you wanna save some money while making some significant improvements to your training and racing performance. The number one key piece of equipment that athletes should look at getting is a pull buoy. Now, not just a pull buoy, I'm gonna pair that with another couple of accessories that are really going to improve your swim performance. So pull buoy, you put between your legs and it helps you add some buoyancy to your legs. So that pull buoy is around anywhere from $18 to $30 depending on which one you get. That's the Eni buoy that I use because you can fill up chambers with water, but I might fill it up with water just 6 times a year. So you can get any pull buoy that you want. But I recommend that you don't just get a pull buoy, you pair that pull buoy with a snorkel. And the snorkel costs about $30 to $40, but you don't just pair it with a snorkel, you also pair it with, bonus tip, this is free, you take an old bike inner tube that is flat that you don't want, you cut it, and you create a band that goes around your ankles, roughly about 6 inches long, and you pair those 3 things, snorkel, band, pull, for a huge amount of your training, and I'll explain why. 2 of the most common issues that adult to amateur endurance athletes who take up swimming late in life experience is they end up getting sinky legs, which creates drag, and they end up being kind of wobbly in the water. Like as you swim, you're kind of snaky, and the floppiness and the low legs in the water end up creating a lot of drag, so you're really like a tugboat just pushing your way through the water. Snorkel, band, pull, all tied together, it creates a situation with your body where your head is almost tied together with your entire torso, all the way to your legs, all the way to your ankles, because if you don't keep a nice firm core, you're gonna be really floppy. It's also going to allow you to press your chest into the water, which then teaches your legs to come up. So we do a huge amount of our steady swimming, like things that aren't 50s and 100s meant for speed. Anything that is long and endurance focused, we use a huge amount of snorkel, band, pull all together. We actually really rarely, for triathletes, recommend using just a pull buoy on its own. Next, moving over to the 3 things that you should get for the bike. First one, AEROBARS. If you're watching this video, odds are really good that you're gonna be starting out with a road bike, in which case the best bang for your buck is going to be roughly a $80 set of clip-on AEROBARS that you dial in to get really, really comfortable for yourself. The reason for that is that about 85% of the drag that we have to push through the air is created by our body, not the bike. So if we can make our frontal plane like really nice and small, AEROBAR extensions are really going to be a good return on investment as far as dollar per speed increase. Next thing in the bike category is in here. Oh, I really didn't prep this ahead of time. Actually, look how clean and organized I am. A really good chamois cream, and I like D's Nuts chamois cream because it's a little bit more natural. I find that it heals saddle sores as well as prevents them, and keeping your undercarriage really well cared for is going to make sure that you want to spend more time on the bike. If you just go in dry, you are likely going to cause a little bit of irritation. That little bit of irritation can get infected, causing pain. You're not going to be on the bike a whole lot because you are going to be in pain. I've had friends that literally had to miss workouts for days and days on end because their saddle sores got so bad. So I've got no affiliation with D's Nuts chamois cream, but I've tried a ton of chamois creams over the years, and this has always been the winner. And in a group that I was running with the other day, all of them agreed. They're like, this is the go-to. Next on the bike are AERO helmets. Now you might be sitting here saying, Taren, wasn't this supposed to be a sub $100 purchase? Yeah, well, this here AERO helmet I really like. It is from Laser, but I have actually found AERO helmets on Amazon for as little as $40 that are almost identical to a $300 AERO helmet from Specialized. What I really like about this AERO helmet is that it can be used whether you're doing road riding or triathlon riding. Now, I haven't tried this AERO helmet, so I won't vouch for its aerodynamics or its performance, but it's a big chunk of foam. How much can you really screw it up? And if you get it for $40, the return on investment for dollars you spend versus improvement in time is gonna be probably better than any purchase that you can make for your bike. Like, a $40 AERO helmet for potentially 1 extra kilometer per hour, which a lot of AERO helmets is actually rated at in my testing, that's a pretty good return. Next, moving on to the run, this is where I tend to be a lot more minimalistic. I don't believe that there's a whole lot of gear that people should use when they're running. Like, I don't really go and run a whole lot with lots of nutrition. I am not one of those people who carries the running vest. I got no problem with the people that carry the running vest, but I just really like to go out the door with nothing but my phone, a little bit of tunes, and some accurate data. And that's what I do think will add a lot of additional benefits to your training. That's where an accurate heart rate monitor comes in. Now I'm cheating a little bit because this is the Garmin HRM Pro, which technically is over $100, but there are models of Garmin heart rate monitors that are under $100. Why I recommend having a heart rate monitor as opposed to something on your wrist is because when you start jostling, I love you Garmin, but I've done testing and a wrist-based heart rate monitor can be off by as much as 40 beats per minute. To get accurate heart rate data while you're running, you really need a heart rate strap. That heart rate on your wrist is perfectly fine for just day-to-day living or cycling or walking, but once it comes to running, I find that you have to get a heart rate monitor. Why this is so important is because the run is the easiest place for your heart rate to rise, and you need to make sure that you're not spending more than about 70 to 80% of your time over your zone 2 heart rate cap in the course of a year. Now, if you don't have accurate data, well, it's garbage in, garbage out. So making sure that you've got accurate heart rate data on the run, very, very critical. Next, I don't have this anymore, but I used to use it before I ended up getting all of my shorts from Mallow or Janji, where they had a pocket in the back of the short. Now, that's where I end up keeping my keys and my phone now, and then I put earbuds in, and I wanna make sure that I'm enjoying all the runs that I'm doing when I'm running solo. And for me, that means podcasts and music. Now, I don't wanna have a phone sitting here or have to carry a phone. I wanna just be able to run freely and not have things rub here or not have my balance thrown off by carrying something. So I like to have anything that I'm carrying just attached to my clothing. So before I got these shorts, what I had was a flip belt. It was like essentially a hollow sash that went around your waist, and here, bonus, it actually smashed down my muffin top. And because the sash is hollow, you can put your phone, you can put your keys. I used to put a GoPro in there. I used to put all kinds of things in there. And even when I started doing lots and lots of really big training, like 3-hour runs where I need to take nutrition, instead of wearing those shorts to carry everything, I would wear the flip belt because it could carry so much. Put it under a shirt, nobody's the wiser. Big fan of that. I gotta get back to those long runs. 1 year. Let's move on from running and get into strength training. I have become a massive proponent of kettlebells. A lot of triathletes who start taking up strength training are looking at being really efficient with their dollars, start getting things like bands. And yeah, bands are really inexpensive. You can get a ton of bands for like $10 to $30, but it's just not as versatile as a kettlebell. What I find is that with one kettlebell, you can keep busy with almost all of your strength training for months. And after about 3 months, when you start getting comfortable with the movements of kettlebell strength training, maybe you're buying a second or maybe a third kettlebell, and all together, like my entire kettlebell setup, I think is less than $500, which is a way cheaper dollar per pound setup than almost anything that you could do. Not sure what to do? We have videos for that in our app. So beginner triathletes, those are the things that I think would make a significant improvement in your training and your performance. They're all under $100, and I will put affiliate links in the description below to the exact products on Amazon that I would recommend. And hey, you know what? If you want to support the channel and you need to get some of this stuff, if you click through any of those links and purchase anything within the next 24 hours, we get a couple cents out of it. So much appreciated if that happens. And if you're watching this video, odds are really good that you need to sort through how to actually triathlon train, and for that you can go to our app at app.mymotive.com. Link for that is in the description below. Within about 60 to 90 seconds you can set up a fully customized triathlon training plan just for you. And as of summer of 2021, it's not just going to be only triathlon. There's also strength, mobility, running races, cycling races, swim run races, duathlons, all for just $57 a month, so check that out. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. Later, Trainiacs.